Hello, my honeys. This is Kamara, the Black Dove Oracle, and welcome to your reading on how people experience your fire signs. And know that this is a part of a series where I am going through all the elements of the signs just to let you know, like, how do people interact with your energy? How do they understand this elemental energy of yours, whether it's fire, earth, water, air? Just how do they connect with it? So you can check your sun, your moon, your ascendant, as well as Venus, Mars, whatever you choose to check in terms of the elements. Know that all elements exist in your natal chart. Even if planets are not there, those elements are in different houses. So if you want an explanation of that a little bit more, let me know in the comments if you're interested in how I think about the astrology and tarot and how it works together. But right now, let me welcome you. Welcome back. If you are a subscriber or a member, welcome to this reading. I so appreciate your support of this channel. I am back in full force and making more readings, so I'm very happy if you would take a moment to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, welcome. I'm Kamara. I'm a psychic medium, and I channel spirit as well as my ancestors and the divine ancient Sibyls, our first oracles. So you may want to check in on all of the elements, and if you do, I really would appreciate your support. Even if you want to hype me up, it really would help this channel to grow and be seen by others. So my honeys, we're gonna dive right into the fire signs. This is how I've set it up. I'm gonna give you a general fire sign energy reading, and then we're gonna dive into the 3 fire signs: Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. All right, my honeys, so let's go ahead and get started. Fire signs. How do people experience this energy? First of all, I have to say, your energy is very passionate, very intense. I think when I think of fire sign energy, it's like the sun, a roaring fire, a dancing flame. So there's a lot of movements, and fire signs are represented by wands in the tarot. And maybe they also are symbolized by dragons, the phoenix, thunderbird. So there's this really dynamic, active, exciting, radiant force that fire exudes. I think when people are in your energy, they feel alive. They feel like things are happening. They feel like someone is finally in control. You know, and there's something very glowing about you. It's like you walk into a room and there is a sense of you getting everyone's attention. Many of you have this kind of actual energy that many people tap into first, even before they really decide if they're physically attracted to you. They can sense that they are being pulled in by your actual energy. Now, you have a certain distinct enthusiasm for life. You're ready to go. You're ready to do what needs to be done. And people like that about you, that your energy is swift, fast, spontaneous. But I think some people sometimes would accuse you of being impulsive, not thinking things all the way through. I mean, it could be that sometimes people find it hard to deal with the intensity of your passion. They also can feel very envious of it, because it seems to be a never-ending kind of fuel for you. You have this enthusiasm for life, this that burns, it crackles, it consumes people. It's very intense to some people who don't have that same energy. It can burn them up. I think when lovers think of you, fire signs, they think this is going to be something I enjoy, but I'll also get me in a lot of trouble. It may also break my heart. So you can scare people away with this type of intensity, because I think you're honest more often than not. You're direct more often than not. And this kind of sometimes impulsivity, although you would say it's probably just spontaneity, it can catch some people off guard, especially those who want to sit down and plan everything, But I think some people may define that as a lack of control, but you defined it as taking action on the things that you need to take action on. You refuse to stand still. You refuse to let things just happen to you. You are sometimes impatient, because I think you feel like life should be lived. You should be alive. You should want to feel that energy running through your veins, letting you know that this life is here for you. So many people feel like you're very optimistic, even when things feel a little heavy and dense and slow and depressed. You're optimistic. You're like, let's go. Let's do this thing. So I want to get into Leo and Sagittarius as well as Aries, but let's start off with Leo. Leo, in the tarot, you're represented by the Knight of Wands. And if you look at the traditional card, it's this energy that is, on top of a horse, and it's moving fast, flames on either side of it. So there's something that people feel is very untamed about you, that it would be very difficult to tame you, to nail you down. And actually, it's like comes out through your pores, Leo. There's this sense of like great fun to be had with you. You're very erotic too, and entertaining. You really love the stage. You love getting attention. You love being validated. You've got a healthy ego, but you are able to focus that energy in sacred ways. And it's funny because many people think, I will never be able to domesticate this person. They live free. They run free. And you give them this impression that you would never compromise, not on those things that you feel are important. You'll never be deluded, or you can't be molded into something that looks like somebody else. You can't really be tampered with. You have this beautiful full energy, the full being card 0 in the tarot, meaning you follow the energy of life. You follow the path where you feel most energized, where you feel most alive. So you can be very popular for this. And I think you can have a lot of, I want to say acquaintances, but you would call them friends. But in many senses, at a deeper level, you may not have that kind of same level of depthful friendship with a lot of people. So in some ways, you are a bit of a popular loner. People love to know what you're doing, what you're up to. But there may be times, especially when you just need to ground and settle your fire, that you can just be in the company of the one that you love. You tend to have lovers. You tend to have relationships that help you to balance and stay grounded. So that's what I have for you, Leo. If we go to the Queen of Wands, that is Aries energy. And so, Aries, when people encounter you, they really get a sense of your personal power, just how lively you are. There's something about you that many people feel like you're constantly generating power. You know how to use your power. You're warm, you're kind, and you can radiate healing energy. There's something very warrior like about you, but in that queen way, meaning like when you engage in any kind of war, you're the kind of strategist that allows for the enemy to come to you. You don't go out into the field and seek the enemy. You very much maintain that kind of queen energy, very receptive. And there's this sense that whatever's for you is yours. You're very attractive to people. You follow the left hand path, meaning more often than not, you're interested in the occult. You're interested in other worlds, other dimensions. You may sing, you may drum, you may dance, even if it's not like professionally, you have a certain kind of rhythm that really makes people love to go out with you and be social with you. Some people, many, find you to be a very magnetic and fiercely intense lover. So that's what I have for you, Aries. Lastly, let's go to King of Wands being represented by Sagittarius, or Sagittarius being represented by King of Wands. Again, there's this kind of energy, Sagittarius, that you have. It's very magnetic, but it's more rooted in kind of like a masculine fire, regardless of your gender. There's something very authoritative about you. You are the warrior king of the deck. You're all fire. You channel heat, strength, clarity. You can be a very powerful teacher, especially in things that require strategy, things that require action. You're very good at teaching that. You're very accomplished when it comes to your goals, and you're very swift in action. I think if you're going to be the King of Wands or the Queen of Wands, there's something about you being this single royalty. You know, it's rare that King of Wands or Queen of Wands really wants to focus on one relationship or getting married. These are very active characters. Even the Knight, you all are very active, meaning it's really hard to imagine that one person could contain your fire. And in that, I think that's what people sense on you. It's not saying that you wouldn't be in a committed relationship or you wouldn't try those things, but I think more often than not, it takes a special person to not dampen your fire or try to put it out. It takes a very special person to help you grow your flames. You know, I think you would do very well with more air signs, because water could dampen your energy, as well as the earth could be too containing for you. But you know, I mean, these are elements, and for every individual, their natal chart is so much more complex than just a sun sign, you know, or a moon sign. So you have to look at aspects, you have to look at the time and day they were born and where they were born. You know, there's a lot that goes there. But you know, what spirit says for you fire signs is that you need to be in the company of those that ignite your passion, and people feel that about you. You can be a little intimidating overall, fire signs. Now, thank you, Sagittarius. Overall, the fire energy, you can also make people very curious. they're the kind of people who want to try you, not try you as in annoy you, but try being with you. They want to get close to you, but they don't want to get burned by you. So I don't know. Sometimes it's very interesting, the people who decide that they want to be in something very intimate with you. I think outside of having passionate interludes with you, they may become so obsessed with you that they want to tie you down in some kind of relationship. You're the kind of person, fire signs, if you're not careful, people try to trap you in their little containment circle. They like to build bricks around your fire. But you are a person who can leap. You can jump. You can set the road, your path on fire as needed. You don't like to feel confined. Even if you are in a relationship, I think you need to be with someone who gives you space, who can interact with your fire in a very respectful way, who's not always trying to control you. And I think that's important. I don't think, in fact, I know you don't like control. And you may have been raised, especially if you come from a family with patterns of, traditional patterns of patriarchy, you may have been raised to seek out these kind of traditional relationships, but always when you get in them, you're like, why am I doing this? I feel like a prisoner. I feel confined. And I think you can, of course, be married. There's fire signs that are married and monogamous and all that. But I think when you're in those relationships, they have to have an element of something different, something unique, a sense of freedom, even within the relationship. So you kind of seek liberation within relationships. Many of you are so magnetic to people. You have tend to have a full head of hair, like, just a, wavy, long hair, even regardless of gender. You have like these long, wavy, thick hair. It kind of creates a mane around your face. I mean, very reminiscent of the lion. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I said the word liar. Lion in nature. Now, that liar word really, I think too, when your relationships are not successful, there's a lot of people that get bitter over you. But I think you've had to learn over the years to not take that bitterness in as if something's wrong with you. I think that bitterness comes from not being able to control you, not being able to, tell you how to move in life, because you're very much a manager of yourself. I mean, if you're Aries, you're the lord of the first house. Like, you are always in a place of self-discovery, and you do not like when people are trying to squash that exploration of yourself. And I think with Leo, you don't like when people try to take you off your stage, try to control your ego. You have a very good job. You do a good job of that. You don't need other people to tell you how to act, when to speak, when not to speak, how to dress. It's like, I think anyone who's with you, Leo, has to be prepared for all the attention you get. I mean, this is something across all fire signs, but I think with Leo, there's a certain kind of flirtation that you do, and it's just part of who you are. It doesn't mean you want to be with people, and Spirit is also saying you have to be careful of that, because there's people who are just so magnetized towards you that it can end up in messy relationships sometimes. People who like you, who really how do I want to say, may be engaged otherwise, so there's a little bit of that, because your ego can take that kind of attention in. But I think you've learned, or will learn over the years, that you have to be careful with that kind of energy. And, Sagittarius, I think for you, the best kind of partner is one that allows you the freedom to roam, the freedom to travel. You may like to travel on your own. You may like to travel with friends. And I think you would need that kind of partner that would, just be okay with those kinds of activities. You're not the kind of person that needs to be up underneath someone all the time in relationships. You like to explore, and sometimes that's on your own, and so you need someone who's very confident, not insecure. I would say all fire signs need someone who's not insecure. It's just best for your kinds of relationships. You may even need to be with another fire sign, even though that can be quite a lot of fire, or like I said, an air sign, or some combinations here and there. So fire signs, that is how people experience your fire. If this resonated with you, maybe you want to consider putting a fire emoji in the comments. Please give it a thumbs up if it resonated. Also, if you like the way I read, could you consider subscribing to my channel? And guess what? My memberships are open, you all. We are taking some deep, deep, deep dives into this energy. I have my other readings are how do men experience your fire. So make sure that you check that out. I will try to put a link in this video for that reading. It is a members only reading, so when you join, you'll have access to all of that. All right, my honeys, until next time, take care.